Aldabra Atoll, a UNESCO World Heritage Site managed by the Seychelles Islands Foundation, is vulnerable to the effects of climate change. Already, its ecosystems have experienced the effects of climate change through bleaching events, and in the decades to come we expect prolonged and intensified droughts, as well as less predictable and more intense storms to threaten not only Aldabra's wildlife, but also the lives of our staff that work towards its protection. But how exactly does Aldabra fall victim to the harsh realities of the climate crisis, and what can we do about it? Through the financial support of the Rosa Luxemburg Foundation, the Seychelles Islands Foundation is taking action to understanding how climate change will specifically impact Aldabra. A snapshot of the climate change vulnerability of Aldabra's outstanding universal value was assessed by applying the Rapid Climate Vulnerability Index (CVI) process, which was developed especially for UNESCO World Heritage properties by James Cook University Researchers Associate Professor Scott Heron and Dr. John Day. According to UNESCO, outstanding universal value means cultural and/or natural significance which is so exceptional as to transcend national boundaries and to be of common importance for present and future generations of all humanity. Examples of Aldabra's outstanding universal values are its outstanding example of a raised coral atoll that is also an almost intact ecosystem with exceptionally high endemism, hosting the most unique wildlife such as the world's largest population of giant tortoises. For this reason, it is a natural World Heritage Site and one of only 50 marine UNESCO World Heritage Sites. What is Climate Vulnerability Index? A Climate Vulnerability Index is created through a series of rapid assessments. The first assessment determines what are Aldabra's key values by analyzing its statement of outstanding universal value and grouping these values. Subsequently, a preliminary assessment of current condition and recent trends of these key values takes place. The next step is to determine the key climate stresses impacting key values in an agreed time frame. For example, if it is predicted that by 2050 rainfall will decrease, it is important to note how this may affect Aldabra's giant tortoises in having access to less food and water. The next stage examines exposure and sensitivity assessment of key values to the climate stresses, and the final step sees adaptive capacity assessments of the key values. But why conduct a Climate Vulnerability Index assessment? According to the International Union for the Conservation of Nature's Third World Heritage Outlook, completed in 2020, climate change is now the top threat to natural World Heritage Sites. A Climate Vulnerability Index assessment helps organizations that have the mandate of protecting UNESCO World Heritage Sites, like the Seychelles Islands Foundation, inform their management and adaptation of a site's ecosystem and attributes in the face of a changing climate. For Aldabra, a sanctuary for rare and endemic wildlife whose roles are vital in the functioning of ecosystems regionally and globally, a snapshot Climate Vulnerability Index assessment is the first step in placing its management of ecosystems in the best position to endure and adapt to climate change. Through this exercise, the Seychelles Islands Foundation will have a greater understanding of the vulnerability of Aldabra's key values to key climate stresses. This understanding will help set the foundation for producing a climate change adaptation plan as well as demand climate justice for Aldabra.